Good day to each and everyone. Today, I would like to discuss the skills requirements of project managers. According to Steve Jobs, management is about persuading people to do things they do not want to do, while leadership is about inspiring people to do things they never thought they could. There are two categories of the skills requirement for being a project manager. Number one, we have the soft skills and the technical skills. Soft skills includes leadership, team building, negotiation, conflict management, organization for self and others, communications both in oral and written to both technical and non-technical audiences. On the other technical skills, a project manager should know how to understand of the technology being used, the software, the hardware, the network, a lot of this. It should have a basic knowledge of the business and cost estimating and budgeting. In the early days of IT, individuals were put in charge of projects without the benefit of project management training. People were chosen on the basis of their performance in other positions. They were good programmers or good system analysts. So it was assumed that they could run a project. Today, we know that the successful project managers need to require or acquire skills much different from just general supervisory skill or just technological skills. Project management has emerged as a separate discipline with its own unique skill set. Many of the soft skills required to be successful project managers are thought to be difficult or impossible to teach. They must be inherent in an individual. Other skills, mainly technical skill, can be taught. Pwede nating pag-aralan yan sa training, sa schools, special training, and so on. We do not get into a lengthy debate here about which skills can and cannot be taught, but we feel that organizations need to look for individuals who demonstrate many abilities listed under the soft skills and then train them to acquire the others. Kaya nga, dun sa soft skills natin, we are trying to look before we put a project managers into positions. We are trying to set the criteria in terms of leadership, team building, or negotiation. Many of these soft skills. Number one is leadership. Quite simply, leadership is the ability to get things done through others. For a project manager, leadership is the process of inspiring, motivating, influencing, and altering these behaviors. Hence, these project leaders demonstrate the following skills. Number one is they embrace change. The excellent problem solvers. They manage the conflict well. They pursue effectiveness in all they do and others do. They innovate. They build trust among others, among project managers, or among the individuals in the team. They are highly self-motivated. Kaya natin to, kaya ko to. We can do this and I can do this. The excellent communicators. They are decisive. According to Insider in 1997, that was conducted a study that identified the 5 characteristics closely associated with effective project leaders. Sabi niya, nandiyan yung credibility. No? The project manager must be trustworthy and taken seriously. O credibilidad bago maging isang project manager. Nandiyan yung creative problem solver. Think outside the box to solve the problem during the project. Tolerance for ambiguity, katulad. He must be skilled at working in complex and often ambiguous situations. Pangapat, nandiyan yung flexible management style. He must be able to handle rapidly changing situations, especially in IT projects na napakaraming mga pagbabago dun sa ating environment. Dapat ang isang project manager is flexible enough sa pabago-bagong sitwasyon ng ating environment. Panglima, nandiyan yung effective communication skills. Sabi ni Insider, it is the ability to communicate with all levels of workers, from the CEO down to the lowest paid staff members. Dapat kaya niyang makicommunicate from the CEO at sa lahat ng miyembro, kahit sa pinakamababa pang miyembro ng team. We have also the what we call team building. Team building is the process of creating a team that cohesively works together towards a common goal. What is team building? Ito yung proseso kung paano mo magagawang pagtrabahuhin lahat ng members mo doon sa team para matapos yung isang project o yung isang nakaset na milestone. Over time, these activities are intended to improve performance in a team-based environment. Team building is one of the foundations of organizational development. Napakaganda, di ba? Pag nabuo mo yung buong team to work in a common goal, you are also working in an organizational, well-developed organization that can be applied to through groups, kahit saan man. Sports team, school classes, military units, or flight crews, and a lot of things. Lot of teams. The formal definition of team building, it includes aligning around goals. We are working towards a common goal, towards a common mission, and towards a common objectives. Secondly, we are building effective working relationships. We are reducing team members from ambiguity. And number 4, we are finding solutions to team problems. We have also the what we call negotiations. According to the guide to the project management body of knowledge, the PMBOK natin sa IS. This is strategy of comparing with parties of shared or opposed interests such as project team members and keys. Merong pagkakaiba ng mga views kasi yan. Iba ang view nito, iba ang view nito. So, how could we negotiate these views towards a compromise or reaching an agreement? The goal is for both parties to win something into a win-win solution, to win something, even if compromise is required from one or both parties. Kailangan mo rin compromise to so that we meet the common goal. We are meeting halfway to win something. Negotiations takes place in all walks of life. Kahit saan naman yan. Sa lahat ng parte ng buhay natin, may mga negotiations. Pati sa pag-ibig, may negotiations din yan. Diba? Sa family, and so on and so forth. But the basic structure of negotiation is fundamentally the same, whether it be an IT project or construction project or any other projects that we are doing. All negotiations share four common characteristics, sabi ni Rafia, Richardson, and Melcafe in 2002. Sabi nila, sa kanilang pag-aaral, there are two or more parties. Second, the parties can be creative and cooperate to arrive at a joint decision, in a joint decision with a common objective. Third, the payoffs to any party depend either on the consequences of the joint decision or alternative external to the negotiations. And lastly, the parties can reciprocally and directly exchange informations, honest or not. Pwedeng maging honest, pwedeng hindi, but it reciprocated under the terms of agreement in a certain negotiation. Then we have the conflict management. When you say conflict management, it involves preventing, managing, or resolving conflicts. Nandun na yung conflicts. When we are resolving conflicts, nandun na yung conflicts. It exists na. No? As they occur throughout a project, sa lahat ng project, hindi naman natin maiwasan na walang conflict na mangyayari. Before proceeding any further in the discussions of conflict, three things need to be understood about. First, from Tom Hain and Wilmot in 1975, sa kanilang pag-aaral, we understand that the reasons for or sources of conflict are dynamic change over time. Second, whether one party has actually wronged another or whether they disagree on something. Sabi niya, sabi ng pag-aaral nila Twyman and Wilmot, no? Sa isang conflict, it's either yung isang party ang nagkamali or nag-disagree yung both parties dun sa isang bagay. The perception of the conflict is what matters. Ano ba yung pinagmulan ng conflict? In some cases, a person may not have done or said anything to cause conflict, but another person may believe he or she wrong and has the perception that conflict exists. O, di ba? Meron ganun eh. Na, wala naman tayong pinag-aawayan, pero ang nasa isip natin, nag-e-exist na yung conflict natin based from what is on our mind. For a project manager, it is important to understand exactly what type of conflict exists before deciding how to resolve it. Third, not all conflict is bad. Okay, look at this, no? Third, not all conflict is bad, but majority of the conflict is bad, but not all is bad. The right kind of conflict, if managed properly, remember this, huh? The right kind of conflict, if managed properly, can actually make the project and the end product better. The trick is to understand the different type of conflict and manage them properly. Okay, there are three general categories for conflict on a certain. Number one, meron tayong tinatawag na task-oriented. This type of conflict is associated with disagreement, no, regarding end result of or outcomes and result from multiple perceptions of a project stemming from vague or incomplete scope statement or requirement specification. O yun yung tinatawag nating task-oriented conflict. Let's say, for example, meron kang mananahi, factory na damit, meron kang tagatap, meron kang mananahi. Ngayon, isang example ng task-oriented conflict is, minsan, yung mananahi mo, siya na yung nagtatabas. Some of the part of the dress, siya na yung nagtatabas. Minsan, yung nagtatabas, part na rin na ginagawa niya minsan is tinatahi na yung ibang parte na. Which is, they are overlapping job specification that will result later on into a multiple perception. Kasi merong incomplete scope ng requirement job specifications na. Ganon din naman sa IT project. Yung system analyst mo at saka yung programmer mo, dapat you need to specify the job specifications or requirement specifications because later on, in the process, pag hindi mo yan na-specify, magkakaroon yan ng overlapping of job specification. And that will stem the conflict. The second one, meron tayong tinatawag na administrative or process conflict. This type of conflict is associated with disagreement about reporting relationship or who has the authority to make decisions. This is especially evident in matrix organization when a team member has several managers. Sa isang matrix organization, we define what is who has the direct communication between the project managers and the people below the project managers. Let's say, for example, meron kang manager 1, supervises academically, and manager 2 who supervises administratively, and a manager 3 who supervises. So there are a lot of managers in the area. Ngayon, nandito ka as staff. Kanino ka magkakaroon ng direct communications? At kanino ka magkakaroon ng informing communications? So, doon nagkakaroon ng process conflict. Let's say, for example, you are working on a research department, but the task you are doing need to be submitted on the resource generation. Do you think that your process will be directly communicated to the resources generation group? Or you need to directly communicate with your managers? Let's say, for example, nasa isang factory ka ng panahian ng damit. Factory ng damit. Ikaw yung taga-tabas. Siya yung tigatahi. Actual na tigatahi. But on the process, pag tinabas mo, dapat tahiin mo na yung ibang. On the other side, pag nagkamali si taga-tabas or pag may sumobra or whatsoever, ikaw yung mananahi, kailangan mo ring tabasin ng. Now, on the process, may nagkamali. Kanino mo i-associate ngayon yung reporting mo, doon ba sa manager ng Ticatakas o doon ba sa manager ngayon ng Tikatay? Those are conflict that involve processes and administration. Okay, number 3, meron tayong interpersonal or relationship conflict. This type of conflict is associated with personality differences between project team members, such as work ethics, egos, or individual personality. Bawat tao kasi sa team member natin is magkakaiba ng karakteristik. So being a project manager, kailangan natin din malaman na, ito pala yung kanyang ugali. How could we deal with this? Or the team members should deal with this, another one. Remember that some conflict is good. If managed, it can have a positive effect on a project outcome. If managed properly, task-related, and administrative conflict can be good. Yung interpersonal conflict natin is always almost bad. Kasi interpersonal yun eh. It's something that is subjective. Pag interpersonal kasi subject. You are looking on the attitude of the person itself. Kaya nga, halos lahat, sabi natin, ng interpersonal conflict is bad. Kaya nga meron tayong definitions for leadership and community. A leader can be as coach. No? A leader can be a visionary or a team leader. A leader as anyone wants to help at this time. A leader is an agent of change. And finally, a leader as values based on organizational change agent. Then we have this what we call communication. Without this communication, it's possible that efforts might be duplicated by multiple people or teams that involved in the project, that important goals and milestones might be missed and the resources become misallocated, or that the project scope begins to creep outside the realm of what was originally intended. The end result is that projects can be scratched to a halt or worse, fail altogether. Yun eh. Pag nagkaroon tayo ng miscommunication, it might be a halt or fail. Parang ano yan eh. Parang yung relationship, the problem or conflict will arise more or resolve. Communication is one of the most essential ingredients in successful project management and skills that a project manager has to have, sabi ni John F. Kennedy. Ito yung pinaka-importanting ingredients yung pakikipag-usap natin sa mga team members. Kung ikaw nga naman, sa isang relationship, kung meron kang girlfriend, hindi mo kinakausap, naku po, the following day, baka iba nakausap niya. When it comes to project management, you cannot go out alone, but even the best tools will not matter without effective communication. In other words, you've got to know how to talk to your people. Alam mo kung paano makipag-usap sa mga tao below you or same with you, no? As a project manager. As a project manager, you should be agent of change. And change management involves people, processes, and tools to ensure organizations manage all the changes from projects or other factors. Change management moves from people, from the current situation, to an improved future state. The process does not use any formalized processes or guide has no fixed dates or tasks. The aim of change management is to help, tanda natin is to help organization achieve their strategic vision quickly and successfully. Change management should form part of the project plan. Kasama doon sa plano ng mga projects natin. With the project manager and change manager working closely together to secure a positive outcome for everyone impacted by the project. A project manager should also an active listener. Being an active listener is not easy. Mahirap yan, no? I think it's more art than skill. Okay, let us try to look at this. Active listening builds trust and a strong relationship. Active listening can help you to resolve conflict. It can prevent you from missing important information. It enables you to identify or anticipate problems. And it helps you to build more knowledge. Doon pa lang, it builds trust and a strong relationship. If you are an active listener, you can build a stronger relationship among your team member. It's like in a relationship that if you are an active listener, you are building the trust of your partner to you. If you are an active listener, you will not miss any important information when your partner is telling you something. And you can prevent conflict. If you're an active listener, you can identify or anticipate problem. If someone is telling you and you are listening too attentively, you are listening too actively, you can anticipate problems from the group. Lastly, guys, project manager should also equip with technical skills. Knowledge in the aspect of ICT, such as project management software, hardwares, network, and other technologies, is very essential as project manager. These softwares are very essential in the development, implementation, and maintenance of any project to make our project more efficient and have lower cost of development. Softwares has come a long way from legacy tools that were difficult to use and required the project management professional to implement. Second technical skills a project manager should learn is the importance of business knowledge. Because business knowledge shapes and drives your business activity. Your ability to sell or do more and stand apart from your competitors. Individual knowledge is easily lost, especially when key employers leave. The way a business gathers, shares, and exploits its knowledge can be central to its ability to develop successfully. This doesn't apply to huge multinational companies. Knowledge management can benefit everyone from a local stand or a manufacturing firm. Thirdly, project managers should have technical skills in terms of cost estimating and budgeting knowledge. Now, guys, what is the importance of cost estimating and budgeting? Estimating costs as accurately as possible can mean the difference between getting the projects up and running quickly versus encountering delays or cancellation. Cost estimation strategies help project managers forecast the resources necessary for each step of a project and ensure that project stays. So let us remember that those are the technical skills of a project manager to become project manager or an effective project manager. They need these two, the soft skills and the technical skills. Thank you very much.